I did a video on surveillance and how I was monitored and tracked in 2018. Probably going to take down that video because there's a part two that I wanted to tell you guys about and how the intelligence services actually monitor people now. When I did that part one video, within about 2 or 3 weeks of that upload, my new phone that I got, which is a OnePlus 10T phone, Snapdragon 8 Plus Gen 1, 16 gig of RAM, 256 internal memory, the latest Bluetooth, Android 13.1, whatever, Adreno 730 for gaming. I got that phone, and that phone got hacked. Not by somebody who's trying to ransom me for money or something like that, but a very threatening hack. A hack that was so incredibly bizarre and complicated. I didn't even know we had the technology to do something like this. So I upload that, surveillance video, and then a few weeks later, I start getting notifications on my new phone. Hey, there's a new AI system that's out there that enhanced your videos. They send it again. They send it again. They send it again. Keep getting the same notification. First, they said it was the gallery of the OnePlus model phone that I have. Then it was Google Photos. Then it was the gallery in OnePlus and Google Photos. And I was at work. I came home at 2:30 in the morning. I'm just thinking to myself, why am I getting 8 or 9 messages about this new AI enhancement to my videos? What the hell? I'm just clearing out the messages, but I mean, it's just nonstop. It's like every 30 minutes. It's ridiculous. I get home, so I'm like, all right, I gotta see what's going on. Something doesn't seem right. I go into my gallery in OnePlus, and I've got probably 60 videos, maybe 70 stills. And I had just got done taking videos of the moon with cloud coverage, and they had a lot of interesting colors, and the moon was when it gets behind clouds, it looks like it molds into different shapes and form. And I like taking videos like that. I think it looks cool. And I took some stills and some pictures of stars and anything else I could gather. I go watch the first video, and at the end of the video, there's a woman that comes into my video. There's a woman that comes into my 3-minute long video. At the end, the last 10 seconds, everything's normal, and then all of a sudden some lady comes in and is like, wow, look at that, that's great. So when you see something like that, you're thinking, am I losing my mind? I'm sorry, what? So I go back a little bit. Let me see this again. Yep, there's that lady, comes right to the side in my camera frame, pointing to the same thing I'm looking at. She's in my video. That's funny. When I took that video at 12 at night or 1 in the morning, I didn't see anybody around me. And I sure as hell would notice if someone was in my frame. It was like this person was behind me and they got into my frame. It's crazy. I go to the next video. This time the moon is kind of changing shape and color behind these different clouds. It's nighttime. It looked really cool. And then all of a sudden she pops up again and basically walks in front of the camera, blocking the image, and goes to the left, and oh, wow. Okay, wait a second. That didn't happen. Nobody's walking around with me at 1 a.m, walking through my frame, and I don't know any better. That has never happened. Never will happen. Something's wrong. Go to the next video. It's the moon again. It's going through clouds, except these clouds were pretty dense and thick. As the video progresses, there is this digital haze that slowly starts to change the actual video that I filmed. It's a slow progression, like digital pixie dust. And all of a sudden, the cloud has the form and the texture of a human face. And the moon is no longer a moon going into that cloud. It is now an eyeball. The eyeball gets sucked into the back of the guy's skull instead of being behind clouds, goes down its jaw or in its cheek, and he takes his tongue out, spits out the moon as if he's throwing it up, and then it flies away into another set of white, weird-looking clouds that were too white for nighttime, and I'm thinking, how? Then this mystery girl, I can't see her face, who's like my girlfriend now all of a sudden, jumps into the video and says, shh, don't say anything. Video ends. I go back and play again to watch it again because I really can't believe what's happening. My video starts out normal, there's nothing wrong, and then eventually it gradually changes into a human head, and there are some clouds still in that texture, but it's a face. The moon's an eyeball, it gets sucked in, only this time it breaks out of the guy's cheekbone. Looks like some sort of hand pushes it back into the head, and instead of using his tongue to bring the moon out of the mouth, he throws it up. So you see all this weird stuff coming flying out of this mouth, and the moon's just kind of hovering along. The lady comes in at a different angle and says, "You're going to get in trouble. You better watch out." He starts laughing. Who's he? The guy whose face is in my video in real time. It's like a live stream event that's happening. I go back and watch it again. I can't believe this. Same thing. Picked all of a sudden digital dust, and about a minute later, here's his face again. Only this time, the moon pops out of his eye and just kind of floats away, and then the head moves closer and then swallows the moon again, which is an eyeball technically now, and then gets coughed up again with its tongue and all this other weird stuff. Girl comes in there and says, "Oh my God, this is crazy." She's making comments. I can't see her face. All of a sudden, I kept watching the video, and I'm like, wait a second, my video was only 2 minutes long. Not anymore. It's 3, 4, 5 minutes long. I'm watching it, and finally, I see people in a studio. Mind you, this is a video that I've recorded a week ago. I'm now in some sort of studio, black studio with walls. One of the lights come on. This guy's wearing a paper mache hat, some sort of makeup on. He's got rhinestones, a black cloth over his body, rhinestones that imitate stars in the background, some sort of weird white cotton ball material to emulate clouds. And this thing's probably 5 or 6 feet long, and there's 5 or 4 people holding up this man's hat and costume. And the backdrop is black with all different types of rhinestones and different types of lighting. I'm looking at a studio. And the guy looks at me and he's like, "You gonna play it again, Mike?" Knows my name, wants to know if I'm gonna play it again. And this is a video that I have already recorded. I stopped it right there, took a deep breath, played it again. This time the girl's there a little bit more often, laughing. They're having a good time. There's people back there walking around, probably 10 people in the studio. And they have completely destroyed and sabotaged my film by taking cloud images and ultimately phase changing them gradually with this digital dust into a real human form. But yet he's got makeup on, so it still could be maybe, not really human form, but it looks just like a face. It is. It's a person. And they're combining some sort of AI technology with real life people in a studio that's live streaming it to me to watch. So I watch it again. The lights come on again, and it's a whole team of people laughing, having a good time. The guy looks at me in the camera. The girl's like, oh my God, he's going to be so mad. I'm watching this. This is my pre-recorded video. This guy with the big hat, whatever the hell this thing is, he finally collapses to his knees. He's like, you're killing me, man. Please don't do this video again. He's now talking to me totally different than the other versions. They're looking at me. They know I'm watching it, which at that time I didn't put it together. They obviously have access to my camera. And I remember just saying something like, I can't effing believe this. Who the F are these people? And then when I said that, you can hear people in the background like, oh, this is great. Did you hear them? The next video was a group of clouds and stars. The clouds got meshed into and changed ultimately into a throne. Then there was an image that came out of the throne gradually. Again, everything's changing. You look over here, this changes. You look over there, that changes. It's got some sort of weird goat head with horns. It's a devil helmet mask. The guy's holding a baby with a beard. He kills the baby with a knife. The head cuts off, but the baby's still alive. Then that collapses into a nice, beautiful lady with blonde hair who's smiling. Then her mouth turns into an alligator snout and starts throwing up human fingers and toes and feet and guts and bloods and lungs out of this lady's mouth. And then behind her, there's a guy with a gun pointing it at me. It's terribly disturbing. Killing babies with beards, pointing guns at me, laughing in real time, destroying my videos, having a good time with these crazy-ass costumes. You got 10 people in the studio live doing that on my phone. On my phone. In a pre-recorded video, real time. I go to my still images. Those change too. So they can take a still image and turn that into a video as well. A couple of stars here and there that were pretty bright. I love taking astrophotography. All of a sudden the stars start to move, starts to change a little bit. All of a sudden clouds start to appear where they weren't clouds. Those clouds turn into sexual shapes and forms. Use your imagination. Then, of course, there's people's faces around those shapes and forms. Use your imagination. And then I think you can connect the dots. Next picture, same thing. The next still picture was a picture of me swimming in the sky, and there was a shark behind me trying to eat me or kill me. Next still image, picture of me, someone in the cloud with a gun. Except this time it's not a face, it's a cloud. Totally you can see a gun with a person's hand, but it's a cloud picture. And you got me in the clouds running away. Next picture, I work at the airport. They have this was a clouded picture. It turns into a quasi-plane image, part real plane image, part clouds. Plane breaks in half. This is a still image. People in there, they're burning to death. They're falling out of the plane. They're smashing glass through their heads and falling down. And then, of course, they got me over here with my girlfriend, who I don't even know who this person is, watching it. And we're, my hands are like this, wow, this is great. Woo. Then the next image, another still, evolves into Mike Cody right here, pointing to me. Oh, man. Then they had the cloud picture. Again, they took the clouds, they switched the names, they switched the clouds into words. 1 plus 10T, that's my phone. Airport, the company I work for's name came up. Where I live, kill you, blah, blah, blah. I had a still image where I was near this hedgerows of bushes, and all of a sudden it changed into some guy coming over the bushes with a knife toward me. I also had some still images where they had these bleachers, like there was some weird little stadium I was in, and you had like 20 people pointing at the same thing I was, but then you would have a face turn around that was kind of blurred out, holding a gun, a knife at me. Some people applauding, but you can't see their faces. They're real people's faces, but you can't see it. Death threats, violence, sexual violence, perversion, unbelievable. And this was live streamed while I was watching. So when I finally clicked on to the gallery and Google Photos, they knew that instantly. That's why they kept sending me messages over and over and over again until finally I was like, okay, they know where I work, they know where I live, they know what phone I have, they know what the old phone I have, they know everything. That's why when I tell you that the surveillance that I had is real, they actually broke into my phone that was brand new and did all that stuff in real time and were actually conversing with me, and they could probably see me through my own camera. I didn't really think of it at that time. I was in such shock. So like I've said before, when I use my little camcorder, I do that for safety reasons, because anything I do on a smartphone, they're just going to steal the videos and the footage. And that's what happens to people when you film real UFOs, when you film real unidentified aerial phenomenon, when you film real stuff. You are way more of a target than Third Phase on the Moon from Blake Cousins, who gives you a bunch of garbage. You see, that's the apparatus. That's the guy who's part of the club. The Louis Elizondos, he's in the club. Dr. Greer, those people in the club. But when you're just somebody who's just like you, an everyday person who's interested in something and does their own research to find out the own truth and requests to see anomalies. Just last night, I was looking up at the sky when I got home from work. It was about 4 a.m. I started meditating, opened my eyes, look above me. Within 1 minute, boom, a shooting light came right above my head. I can do that. You can do that. You have to understand where you live and who you are and how to request it. Doesn't always happen, but it will happen eventually. They will harass, intimidate, and threaten you. I don't know what intelligence agency it is, but they have a lot more resources than I do. It could be a domestic one. It could be a foreign one. I don't really know. But why? 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 Because the surveillance video that I put up is real. And the part 2 is even crazier. And they don't want that out. They don't want you to know what their new tactics are. Because I know. And it's not fun. Little did I think in 2018, 5 years now have passed, that they wouldn't be holding this grudge. They sure as hell are. So, you want to go out there and film real stuff and put in the effort like I do, real UFOs? Be careful what you wish for.